Ariana Grande's R.E.M. Beauty, in its first iteration, really never had a chance. It was doomed before it began. It was successful, don't get me wrong, but endless internal problems made it just impossible to continue. Though, now that they're off on their own, maybe they do have the chance to turn that bad luck around. This video is sponsored by Tune's Journey. I recently downloaded the free-to-download game and have had the incredible pleasure of customizing, remodeling, and fixing my mansion and garden island through their game, where you find various hidden objects to progress through the story and the chapters. I often quite enjoy mobile games like this, to be honest, because I feel that sense of accomplishment as I build. But actually, in this sense, I preferred the game itself. I really enjoyed finding the different things around the room, even if I didn't know what a jerry can was in the very first chapter. But it does have such a unique perspective of kind of like I Spy with a unique murder mystery twist that kept me going back and back for more, because you can play each chapter multiple different times with multiple different things to find. I can't show you anything past chapter 2 as to not ruin the surprise, but believe you me, it's extremely worth it, especially if you are into murder mystery games, because the storyline itself is also brilliant, but not scary. If you're interested, please download from the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen now. R.E.M. Beauty was founded in 2021. However, we can't start our timeline there, firstly because Ariana Grande already had a perfume line by this point, and secondly because by the time it launched, the parent company was already in trouble. Let's start with the perfume line. So Tony Bajaj launched Luxe Brands in January 2014, and by February 2015, they had already announced their partnership with Ariana Grande for the licensing of her name for perfumes. Nowadays, Luxe Brands do several celebrity perfumes, including the Khloe Kardashian perfume that was recently announced last year and was supposedly supposed to come out this year. It hasn't yet, maybe it will by the time this YouTube video are out. All of these are made for early access on Patreon. But Ariana Grande, as far as I could tell, for Luxe Brands, was the first. As such, a lot of effort went into promoting it. They had worldwide distribution channels from the jump, major retailers as stockists, the whole shebang. Another 2 followed in 2016, another 2 in 2017, 6 more by 2021. So, though we don't have sales numbers for these early years, we can assume it was really strong and it made her brand look like a bankable name for the cosmetics line. Even Vogue called Ariana Grande a perfume tycoon just last year, only on the back of the perfume line. But this is a totally separate business to R.E.M. Beauty. That didn't come about until 2021, when Forma Brands was already in trouble. Before they launched R.E.M., Forma had multiple hit brands. They had Morphe, James Charles, and Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, among several others. I have a whole Morphe video if you would like to know in more detail, actually. But in a nutshell, James Charles was going through the Buy Sisters controversy, and Morphe got very heavily pulled into that. So, with Morphe being the cash cow and James Charles being the star brand, this hit the whole parent company very, very hard. And so they began investing into new brands. Of course, this was before R.E.M. was started. Forma was already established as a brand incubator for new cosmetic brands at this point. So it was not just R.E.M. that was born into this very rocky beginning. They also had Bad Habits with Emma Chamberlain, an announced beauty line with Demi Lovato that was cancelled, a skincare line with Charli D'Amelio, which was also cancelled, a perfume line with Charli D'Amelio, Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, Such Good Everything, Player, and Lipstick Queen. So even before any R.E.M. products hit the shelves, the pressure was really on R.E.M. Beauty to save a rocky parent company. This would bring us to August 2021, when the brand was teased on an Instagram page, a website, and the erection of billboard ads across New York. The brand officially launched on the 12th of November 2021 as a direct-to-consumer brand, and reception was mixed. Some people hated the packaging, some people loved the packaging. The products, which included liquid eyeshadows, eyeliner, lipstick, and highlighters, seemed to be nice, but nothing to write home about. And because they were quite classic in colors and good but not groundbreaking in product quality, they ended up being a dime a dozen mediocrity. So the launch really wasn't about the product. It was about Ariana Grande specifically, and that was the heavy push that they used. It was a celebrity brand meant as a celebrity brand. The differentiator was literally only her. This is quite an important distinction to make because it tells us that very early on, their target market was Ariana Grande fans, potentially those that would have bought the perfume directly before. But specifically, it was not aimed towards makeup enthusiasts. This explains things like their affordable price point and their focus on more public teasers of the brand. So in that sense, actually, the price was good, the production was fine for its goal, promotion was pretty good, even place was also fine, being that it was online for her younger audience. So there was nothing inherently wrong with the launch of R.E.M. Beauty. It was perfect, she was perfect, and so they were perfect together. The only risks that you can assume from this are the standard celebrity line risks, such as its dependence on her personal popularity. So it sold, and it sold really well. Releasing products tied to her music career, by the following year it was stocked exclusively at Ulta to bring them even easier access to US fans, Sephora stocked them across mainland Europe, and they even had Selfridges in the UK. However, within only months, by October 2022, Reorg Research claimed that Forma Brands may have to declare bankruptcy. Their sales had fallen to such an extent that even the rising popularity of the R.E.M. brand wasn't enough to float the whole company with their many, many unprofitable brands. Specifically, Reorg Research alleged that the amount of debt owed by Forma Brands was between 600 and 700 million US dollars. In fact, this was shortly confirmed by Forma too, who said in a quote from WD, quote, "Forma Brands is engaged in constructive discussions with our financial stakeholders regarding ways to strengthen the company financially and enable us to reinforce our focus on the opportunities we see ahead for our brands. We are excited about the products we will continue to bring to our customers." So it seems, though the R.E.M. brand was seemingly well planned and well targeted towards her fanbase, it was just too late to save the parent company. By January 2023, Forma did in fact declare Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and they were forced to heavily consolidate their business. This, for Ariana Grande, meant that because the brand was never owned by Forma Brands, just a licensing agreement for their product development, manufacturing, and marketing, they would need a new company to fill that role. That is, of course, if they weren't going to stay with Forma, which was never really a consideration from the day they declared bankruptcy, to be fair. In fact, to quote Allure, on January 12th, the day that they announced the Forma bankruptcy declaration, they said, quote, "Industry sources have told Allure that Ariana Grande is working towards finalizing an agreement to take all operations in-house for her brand R.E.M. Beauty." So it was never an option to stay with Forma, and in fact, according to Bloomberg, who reviewed the bankruptcy documents, even before their official bankruptcy declaration with the US authorities, they had actually signed to release Grande from their licensing agreement early in order for the brand to live on. Quote, "The agreement to purchase R.E.M.'s physical assets, including existing inventory from Forma Brands, is valued at roughly $15 million. The transaction needs approval from the judge overseeing the bankruptcy case in Delaware, according to court documents filed on January 27th. Forma, who owns the Morphe Cosmetics brand, had already agreed to end a licensing agreement with R.E.M. shortly before its Chapter 11 filing, paving the way for the asset sale. In fact, it was from this that R.E.M. had effectively announced a really exciting new development. Not only were they not staying with Forma, but they weren't even going to be a licensed brand at all anymore. R.E.M. was now its own company. By the February, they had hired Michelle Segemasa as CEO and Sarah Schwartz as a creative director. By May, the brand already had found new investors in Sandbridge Capital, as well as minor participation from Strand Equity, Hybe America, Live Nation Entertainment, and Universal Music Group. Nothing had changed from a consumer perspective, to be honest, but it seemingly took everything in-house a la House Labs. And in fairness, Sarah Schwartz was the senior art director of Forma, and Michelle Segemasa was the senior vice president of Smashbox Cosmetics. So these were very strategic, strong hires meant clearly for some heavy-duty internal development. Now, Segemasa didn't stay at the brand. She left in June of 2024, according to her own LinkedIn. And we don't know who is the CEO there now, or at least I couldn't find who it is. I thought that was a bit strange. But in this time, they did manage to continue business, retaining Ulta as a stockist as well. So, to repeat, literally everything from a consumer perspective stayed the same. However, that's not necessarily a good thing. Previously, banking the brand on the celebrity status of Ariana Grande was fine. When it's in a parent company with a bunch of other brands, celebrity brands can work like icing on a cake. They cannot really rely on sales as the brand floats between being a star, a dog, a question mark, as the celebrity's popularity ebbs and flows naturally between albums and between scandals. Because of this, they really cannot rely on constant sales from celebrity brands, so instead they rely on intermittent sales, which they counter with other brands also with intermittent sales. For example, if Ariana Grande is up one month and say James Charles is down, that's fine because Grande can carry Charles, making a baseline of sales. If the next month is vice versa, no harm, no foul. So, without the reliance on those other brands, it makes those down times much harder to weather, as companies generally don't keep a stockpile of money for bad times. Companies usually aim to be at zero, where any profits are reinvested into the business for growth. Money sitting in the bank in that way just doesn't earn more money. Therefore, slow, continual growth that you would usually see in a business is far less achievable. Ariana Grande is in favor now, but she cannot always be. It's just not possible. I'm sure there are many scandals in her future, as there are for all celebrities, especially considering that Hybe is a shareholder of the company from their investment, and the CEO of Hybe America is Scooter Braun. The scandal just writes itself, especially in relation to R.E.M, so I definitely do anticipate that being a problem somewhere down the line. So, either they just acquiesce to the fact that this is a cash grab, this is a celebrity line only meant for a few seasons, or they plan to avoid this. And it seems that they may have started that. They released these 3 videos with this sandy, younger look to them without Ariana Grande in the videos. They performed quite badly on YouTube as it happened, getting only 9,000 and 16,000 views, while the previous video to this had 1.8 million. So the draw here really is Ariana Grande's celebrity factor. Though I will say it doesn't help that these also feel quite extremely off-brand, even without Ariana Grande in the videos. I'm really not entirely sure why they didn't continue the space theming the second that Ariana Grande wasn't in the videos. I just think it's strange. It's also kind of strange to have both this and then the We Can't Be Friends-esque borderline eyeliner promotion within a year of each other. It's just a bit confusing promotion to me. I don't think it helps them establish who they are outside of the Ariana Grande heavy perspective of the brand. So what can they do about this? Good news, there's really 2 options. Either they can make an innovative product that puts the value of their brand on the product, not on the celebrity, a la Fenty Beauty. This for them could be their borderline eyeliner, for example. It's not innovative, but it is an unusual product in the mass market, and it's quite an interesting hero product. Or alternatively, which is the option I believe they started with these 3 videos, they can make it the most desirable brand on the planet just through advertising/positioning, a la Kylie Cosmetics when that first launched, or even Rare Beauty. Banking on that PR to effectively invent an innovation or point of difference for them. It's all in which label is able to persist, if you will. Either one of these options would make a reframing of the brand worthwhile, would give them a bit more longevity, but neither are particularly easy, especially when they're not doing a hard relaunch. Of course, they just need to define their point of view, execute it at all times, and promote the absolute crap out of it. Obviously, we cannot know if they will do any of these. The brand does really seem to be solidly in that celebrity brand box, and there is nothing inherently wrong with that. It sells, they seem to know their audience, and she does have a large fan base. It's just riskier when it's a sole brand. It's also shorter term, and it's now in a very saturated market. And yet, there doesn't really seem to be any motivation for them to change. For example, we know that soon R.E.M will do a Wicked collab coming for the launch of the movie. And it makes me a little bit sad. They haven't changed the R.E.M logo, they haven't distanced it from Ariana Grande yet, pushing for a product differentiator instead. And we're now mere months from the launch of Wicked, so there's really no time to do that now. Yes, R.E.M was totally fine as a celebrity brand. It does have an audience in her fan base and the simple products that they sell. But maybe it's better to become less callow, less shallow, because going for a short-term celebrity brand in the current market that is so heavily saturated with celebrity brands is an easy option, sure, but it's not going to last them. Now, I could not be more excited for the Wicked movie release. I know every word of the West End production. I've read the book. I've audiobooked the book as well, actually. I've even read Kristen Chenoweth's autobiography. I really am a big fan of Wicked. But if the products end up being half green, half pink with emerald packaging, it's going to also look like nothing more than a cash grab. And if you tie that into the heavy celebrity branding, it's not really going to give the brand strong legs to weather times when she maybe isn't in the public eye so much. It's just not going to give the brand that cosmetic legitimacy. And just to update, since I made this video about a month ago for the people on Patreon, she did release a video going over all of the different products that are going to be in the R.E.M Beauty Wicked collaboration. And it is exactly how I feared. It's very pink and green and nothing much more substantial, which was expected. I understand that that's going to sell more. However, in the same release video, she very heavily ties it to her childhood and to herself as a person, doubling down on that celebrity factor for the brand. So it does seem like this is the angle they're going to go for, and they are going to plan for the brand to be successful only as long as she is. Obviously, Wicked is a 2-part movie, so they do have time. I think she'll be very positively received throughout all of this in her own personal promotion, and that will help them get a lot of sales based off of the celebrity nature. So I in no way think this will be a small time for the brand at all, and honestly, I think it'll be hard to avoid, to be honest. Actually, specifically, I think it will look extremely popular for the next couple of years, all the time the Wicked promotion is going on. But that's the risk here. The risk is when that dies down, can it maintain a level of profit or even break even without the heavy push from Ariana Grande? I'm just not so sure. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe. A big thank you goes to June's Journey for sponsoring the video, which is still available using the QR code on screen now. If you're interested in fashion content, my fashion channel is also linked on the screen, and a special thank you goes out to my patrons over on Patreon, some of whose names are on the screen now. All content used in this video is done so in accordance with the principles of fair use. However, if you have any concerns, please contact me directly at contact@understitch.co.uk.